Hello and welcome to my F1 25 driver career mode here today for part 29 for the Australian Grand Prix, the first round of the 2027 Formula 1 season. We have left Dhabi and the Red Bull programme and we have joined Ferrari to try and get back to their former glory. So we come into qualifying now ahead of the first round of the season. We've gone purple in the first sector. This Ferrari seems to be quite quick this year as we come up to the line now and we cross it, and that's going to put us on provisional pole position. And now towards the end of the session we've been beaten by Oscar Piastri and we've lost time though in the final corner. We went purple again in the first sector, but we are going to start in P2. So this is the grid then ahead of the first race of the 2027 Formula 1 season. It is Oscar Piastri who is on pole at his home Grand Prix and we are alongside him looking to kick off the season strong. Then it's Max Verstappen and George Russell, Colapinto and Kimi Antonelli, then it's Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris, Tsunoda and Gasly round out the top 10, then it's Albon and Bortoletto, Claire and Jack Doohan, Ocon and Sonny Hayes, Hulkenberg and Piers, this first race as world champion, and then it's Behrman and Lawson, and on the final row of the grid is our former team, RB Hakkinen ahead of Villeneuve. So the cars make their way onto the grid now ahead of the Australian Grand Prix. The strategy is looking very close between a 1 and a 2 stopper. 2 stopper looking quicker, but track position is key round here, so a 1 stopper may be more viable, but we'll have to see as the 29 laps play out. As the final cars get into position, then we can go racing in 2027. We're racing once again in Formula 1 and we've got it. A lot of wheels spin off the line. Piastri keeps the lead and we've got Max Verstappen trying to go round the outside of us, and he goes round the outside of us, really pinched us to the apex. Max takes P2, we're down to P3 as now we head down now towards turn 3. Can we get the Dutchman back to the outside? We're going to have him back round the outside. Can we keep the traction? Yes we can. We retake P2 on the opening lap of the Grand Prix, but Piastri leads his home Grand Prix, and now we skip on to lap 2 and we're stuck with Piastri here. We're looking to take the lead of the Grand Prix. We're looking to win on Ferrari debut, would be the first driver since Fernando Alonso, as we go right round the outside of Oscar Piastri and take the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. We got a podium last year here, but Piastri wants a home Grand Prix win and he's going to go back to the outside of us here, try and keep it pinned around the outside. We're going to show him the door, give him the elbow. He's still there though on our outside and he's ahead of us as we go through the final couple of corners. We squeeze Piastri there and Max is sees an opportunity, of course he does, to go round the outside, has the inside line, and Piastri has dropped to P3 trying to get our P1 back. But now Max is having a go at us. He's had a little lock up there, but it's looking quite close. We're really struggling to break the DRS. We've gone a little bit wide there. As now into the penultimate corner, Max has dropped it, he's lost it, and he's spun round right in front of Piastri. Piastri keeps going. Where is Max going in the meantime? He's turning into the barrier. He's had a bit of a blank moment there, Max, as he's dropping down the order. It's all gone wrong as he's fighting for the lead, looking to get that number 1 back on his car for next season. And it's an absolute shocking start to the season for him as we skip on now to the end of lap 9. And this is Charles Leclerc making his first stop of the day. I believe he probably is stopping that early, but that Max spin, it's a slow stop for him, allowed us to pull away from Piastri, and we just kept the gap around 3 seconds. As now where is Leclerc going to come out? He's going to come out behind Max Verstappen here in a small bit of clean air. But now this was just our race. It kind of helped us out because we just couldn't break the DRS to Max and Piastri in those opening couple of laps, but now we were keeping the gap fairly in the 3 seconds, between 3 to 4 seconds in the early stages of the race. On lap 10 now as we close in on half distance, and at the end of lap 10 this is Oscar Piastri coming into the pits to make his stop Where's he going to come out relative to Charles Leclerc? Because he wasn't that far back, was Charles, as he's going to go on to another set of mediums, so he is 2 stopping is Piastri. Where though is everyone behind him, as now he heads down towards turn 1, and he's found a bit of clean air. He's beaten out Leclerc, who's caught a big pack behind. You can see he's ahead of Verstappen, and now this is Piastri. He's caught a pack right in front of him. That is Piers, the world champion of last season, the reigning world champion, who is struggling this season so far. That apex not suiting the track. As we kept going all the way to lap 13, the tyres were very much still going here. Although that left rear looks to be screaming a little bit now. We completely mistime it. But we're going to go on to the hards, and it's a slowish stop. It's not great. But I remember last season where we could have won, even the season before that, the first season here, when we were in the RB, and we nearly won the race if we hadn't stopped again. So we're going to attempt the 1-stopper today, and we'll just see what happens. We'll see how far we can get these hard tyres, because that always gives us the option to then keep going or box if these tyres aren't going to last. But we've come out right behind a pack, as now Leclerc has got his way through and caught the back of Piastri, as they're struggling to find a way through the cars in front, as we've caught the back now of Albon to the inside. We get the job done on the Williams. We need to get through these fairly quickly to save our strategy. These are going longer, it seems to be. They seem to definitely be doing a 1-stopper, but Colapinto is going to get out of the way of us, which helps. So it's just George up the road now. And now this is Leclerc going for a move on Oscar Piastri to take the net P2 in the race, and he got the job done from the McLaren, and Piastri is back down to a net P3 in this race. If everyone pits in front of him and plays out how the race is looking, as finally those cars in front of them box, and now we've caught the back of George Russell and go sweeping round the outside of him and take that place and go back into the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. And now this is Leclerc and Piastri going wheel to wheel. Piastri wants his P2 back, or his net P2 back. It's round the outside. He goes. Can Leclerc hold him off? No, he can't. Piastri is through, and he is ahead. That traffic has really cost these two, because now we are miles up the road. Surely now we hold all the cards here. We've got a great chance of winning this race, but Leclerc isn't done yet with Oscar Piastri, and he gets him back into turn 1. Does he? No, he has to back out of it and lives to fight another day, but he's not having any of it, Leclerc. This is a great battle. George Russell has pitted, and now round the outside Leclerc gets the job done. These now 8 seconds behind us, so they lost 5 seconds, A, battling, and B, in all that traffic to us, because we were 3 seconds at the road from Piastri when he pitted. But these two are sticking together like glue in this race, as Piastri now looking to have Leclerc back. Can he? Round the outside, they're both side by side. Leclerc gets the job done, retakes P2 and makes it a Ferrari 1-2 as well here in Australia. But he pits at the end of this lap. He gives up the battle with Oscar Piastri after winning it late on there, but he is going to come into the pits to make his second stop of the day, which is going to put him back into all that traffic. So I'm not sure what we're doing there. I said it was close at the start of the race between the 1 and the 2 stop, but overtaking looks extremely difficult today, and it's very much a track position. So we've got to get to the end here. I think we've got to try and do the 1-stopper as he comes out side by side with Max Verstappen, who now is fighting right at the bottom of the field after that spin earlier on in the race. Lap 19, Oscar Piastri leaving it to the last minute to brake, coming into the pits, locking up. It doesn't matter though, he never needs to use those tyres ever again, but he goes onto the hards now, and he is going to come out of the pits. Where does he come out? Relative to our teammate Charles Leclerc going through turn 1. He's beat him out. Leclerc's lost so much time in this mini train that the overcut has worked for McLaren and Oscar Piastri. There's 2 cars between now, Piastri and Charles Leclerc. And now we have a pit stop to those behind, to Lando Norris, currently P2, 19 seconds at the road, and we have no intention of pitting again. These hard tyres have felt really good. I was thinking about that first season we did here when we were in RB and we pitted from the lead, and ultimately we threw away a win on debut that day. So we're going to get these tyres to the end as our RB replacement Mika Hakkinen pulls over to retire from the Australian Grand Prix. His day is over on his F1 return. Lap 26 now. We were just continuing to manage the pace, as you can see there. Hakkinen has retired, but Lando's now P2 with the fastest lap. Yuki Tsunoda finds himself P3 as Lando Norris is no longer P2 because that McLaren engine has gone bang in the back of that McLaren. McLaren kind of screwing up Piastri's strategy, giving Lando a better one, which I'm sure the media will have their opinion on that one. But Lando Norris now is out of the Grand Prix with just a couple of laps to go here. Now though, skipping on to the final lap of what's been a dominant Grand Prix for us. Red Bull said we weren't ready for a top seat. We told them to get lost, and we are going to round the final corner to win on debut with Ferrari. We win the Australian Grand Prix.
Another superb Australian Grand Prix comes to an end then, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory.
To take the win at the first race of the season, now that is important. You get straight in to your competitor's head, and they now know that you are the one to beat.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
So that has been then your Australian Grand Prix. We win on Ferrari debut, the first Ferrari driver to do that since Fernando Alonso in 2010 in Bahrain. Yuki Tsunoda has had a good day for Red Bull, P2 doing that one stopper, and Carlos Sainz in the Williams, a great day for them, rounds out the podium. George Russell was P4 and Pierre Gasly was P5. Great job from him after starting P10. All of those drivers doing the one stopper. Track position was king today, and it's cost Leclerc only manages P9, and it's cost Piastri as well, who after fighting for the lead finishes P6. Down at the back then there was 2 retirements, that being Mika Hakkinen, our replacement, Lando Norris, who is classified but he did retire. So it's Jack Doohan who was the final finisher today. So this is what it means in terms of the constructors then, and we are top of the constructors after one race by 6 points over Williams. Good job by them. Red Bull P3, Mercedes are P4, and Alpine, who's been shocking the last couple of seasons, find themselves P5, and then there's still a lot of teams still yet to score this season. That's been then your first race of the 2027 Formula 1 season. We kick off with a win on Ferrari debut. We can take that into next race when we go racing at Suzuka. I'll see you then. Goodbye.